Hi, and welcome to Cliff Notes, where we will be summarizing and talking briefly about some things that happened on O Network's reality-based TV show, Ready to Love, in Season 6, Episode 4.
In this episode, Tina, who is a new cast member, she's meeting Wiley on a blind date at a restaurant.
Right, and one of the things that struck me immediately, okay, was how Tina's representative showed up to a blind date and a first date.
Tina showed up with the girls out.
Right, and on top of that, to add on, I think that when you consider what her background is, she is a mother of a 2-year-old. She is obviously on the show as a cast member because of her desire to have a fulfilling relationship.
And she was involved in a toxic relationship with the father of her child. So it seems a bit odd that she would show up on her date dressed like that.
Absolutely. I think that Tina really needs to consider how her representative shows up in these kinds of situations. For sure. Right, the message is one thing, and when I say that, I'm talking about how she dressed. That message is one thing. What she says in her mouth, that comes out of her mouth, is something different.
Yeah, and men tend to, put women that they meet in certain classes, and she don't want to come across as just a warm place to put it.
She needs to understand that how guys are wired. Guys are visually wired first and foremost, and then kind of really understand how what that means going forward, for sure.
And she's a beautiful young woman. She's an entrepreneur, she said. So she really needs to stand in that power of who she is and present herself accordingly.
Now that was just one of two blind dates that actually happened.
Yeah.
That was on right. That was on the men's side.
Yeah.
On the women's side, Precious actually had
yes.
a blind date with a new cast member, Donovan.
Donovan, yes.
Absolutely.
And what can we say about Precious?
Shake my head.
This is the first date, and Precious is already coming on strong on Donovan and telling him that she's aroused and how long she has had sex and how long she has been single. And I find it remarkable that a woman who has not been in a relationship for 9 years, she still has that she pushes sex constantly, not only with Donovan but with every man she encounters, with the exception of
Tori.
When she spoke with Tori, she went a little deeper and she told him that her mother had basically abandoned her, but every other guy Precious encounters, she leads with sex.
Yeah, it was just from my vantage point, too much. I think that one of the things that maybe I think Precious would do well to understand is that, hey, look, even though you haven't had a relationship for 9 years, so on and so on, you don't have to come across as being overly thirsty. Okay, it's okay to be able to to show that you're interested in somebody, and maybe even to a point initially where that you haven't had a relationship, but that's something that kind of comes along with getting to know somebody.
Right.
And I don't think that it serves Precious well for her to be so forthcoming with so much information up front.
Yeah, Precious, we want to know a little more about you. What you do for fun? Do you like music? Do you like traveling? What's up with Miss Precious, with your beautiful self? You don't need to present all that to Donovan on the first date, because he seemed a little bit like he was sort of pushing away from you because there was so much heat coming at him in that particular date. So I would imagine that you would take some time to reflect on when you do see the show and pull it back.
Yeah, and I think that even in her confessional, she had asked the rhetorical question to the audience. Is he feeling this energy that I'm coming at him?
He wasn't feeling you, Precious. He wasn't. And you need to sort of reset, get some friends who can wrap you up and just fill you with goodness and lead you to a better path, because the one that you're on may not be the one that can get what you desire most, and that's a relationship with a man that will lead to marriage and companionship.
In the most effective way. Couldn't agree with you more. Next we have Laverne, who was able to go on a seemingly nice date, a pleasant date with Joy.
With the pottery and what have you. But again, that sex thing was high.
No question about it.
I don't know what's going on now with dating, but Lord have mercy, these people talk about sex on a first date like nobody's business. But they seem to have a good time. So, and I like Joy. I think she's charming, and she's ready. She's a free spirit, and I like that kind of tendency for a woman to feel free in who she is.
Absolutely, and you can tell it definitely comes across as that free spirit kind of attitude.
Yes.
And it's kind of refreshing to see. There's no question about it.
Yes.
And clearly she's able to adjust to pretty much anybody.
Yeah, she can
crosses her path. Right, exactly.
She can get with you, in conversation. Wherever you want to go, that's where she's gonna go.
But I will say this as a message to Laverne, everything is not a competition, bro. Okay, so you don't have to make the little sidebar comments and all that. You can be competitive and all that, but have it be playful too. Everything is not a competition to see who will beat who.
Well, maybe he got that personality trait from when he was in the armed forces.
Maybe.
So you got to be on and popping, I guess.
Right, and so moving on from there, if I'm not mistaken, the show goes back to Precious and Donna, and it was kind of again an example of those awkward kinds of things that tend to come out of Precious that don't need to come out of Precious in terms of conversation. Here's what I mean. She took the occasion to ask Donovan if or what his thoughts were about premarital sex.
Okay. She's having premarital sex. That's what she does.
Right, but do you think that that's something that should be a topic of discussion on a first date with a blind date newscast member in the scenario that we're talking about here?
Oh, well, no, that's not what happened with us, but...
Right.
But
for sure.
Watching what's going on now is like, dang. What is wrong? Is it in the water?
The game has changed, folks.
I mean, it's Lord have mercy. You gotta lay hands on yourself.
Somebody need to educate, bro.
In the name of Jesus. But hey, Precious is out there. Precious. At one point, she told P.O. Paul that she was a freak, and I'm saying, girl.
Yeah, that was in a previous episode. I think so.
No, at the beach house.
At the beach house?
Yeah, she told her she was a freak. And I'm saying, oh my God, girl. Pull it back. Pull it all the way back. And she had some girlfriends. She let them wrap her up. She needs an intervention.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, but that was just my take on it. I would never have considered asking you that question when we dated.
Well, we would not have had a second date.
Right? Yeah. Precious.
I'm just saying.
Precious, you listening? But I was just caught off guard by that, and I didn't think it was appropriate from her standpoint, and
Yeah.
and conversely, I'm not a fan of what Donovan's response to that
Right,
was either.
because a girl needs to keep her secrets on the first date. She doesn't need to spill everything out there. Flirt with the man if you must. Talk. There's things to talk about. We live in a pandemic world. We what do you love? What keeps you together during this time? Is it music? Is it movies? Is it talking to friends and family? How's the family? There's so many things to discuss rather than how aroused you are.
Right.
Keep that to yourself. That's your little secret.
Right, that's from Precious, and Donovan, if I'm not mistaken, responded to her question about whether or not she
That's
has
what he-
premarital sex.
Right, a
With-
test drive compared to
Right,
a car.
a car. Yeah, that was just I think the wrong response from Donovan's end, and I would think I think it kind of was a little disrespectful. I don't know. That one just didn't go over well with me.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. Demetrius had had a chance to meet with AP.
Yes.
AP.
Yes.
And one of the things that struck me about their meeting was how I don't want to say necessarily guarded. I don't know if that's the right word, but reserved, shall we say, that AP came across to me with her responses to Demetrius.
AP was, she had Shaka Khan's "I'm Every Woman" with a hint of Whitney playing in her hair. She told the man, "You be Superman, but I'm not Lois Lane. I know how to get it." And he was like, so why am I here?
Right.
You could
right.
see that look on his, why am I here?
Yeah, I kind of get the feeling that he was a little confused about it, just based on her responses about
Exactly.
why she was involved with the process to begin with.
Exactly.
So
Again, a woman got to stand in her power, know who she is, but really, if you're looking for a long-term relationship, you gotta let the man know that, one, you like him, two, you need him. A man needs to feel like he's needed
or wanted.
or
Yeah.
wanted. If not, what's the point? So the Superman Lois Lane reference was not appealing to me, and it didn't look like he liked that what she said
Her
either.
response, right.
Wiley hit on her. He was too young. What's that guy's name? The one that you like, big personality, like
Clifton.
Clifton took her on a date. She told Clifton that he reminded her of her brother. It was over.
Face broke. Clifton's face just crumbled
Check,
right off the
please.
right, exactly.
I'm out.
Right.
Now she tells Demetrius
yeah.
that he could be Superman, but she's not Lois Lane. She doesn't belong on this show.
Right, and maybe it's a little too soon for her to be in this kind of scenario.
Yeah.
It really is.
She should be, as a widower, be a little more open, be a little more vulnerable, be in tune with who you are and try new things. A young man taking you out, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't tell him that he reminds you of your brother. Oh, you know better than that.
Well, apparently she didn't. But anyway, moving along. Next, we kind of had some interesting thoughts about a scenario that took place at the beach house. Chef Eric was preparing a meal for the group, the cast members, for them to enjoy, and Dakia actually joined him in the kitchen, talking and trying to get to know him a little better, and all. And after she had a moment to kind of talk to him and kind of get to know him and conversate with him, Carmen interrupted the conversation and stepped right in and kind of entirely changed the whole vibe of the scenario, for sure.
But that was her intention, to change the
Damn sure was. Damn sure was.
That was what Carmen came for.
Starting with what she wore. You want to take that one?
But she was showing all her bits and pieces. Everything was out, her grocery.
She put it on the countertop for him to see, for Chef to see all of it, for sure.
I mean, it was out. Well, but then the Kia didn't like it
Right.
because she has her eyes on Eric, and she didn't like it at all.
It seemed like I don't want to say an aggressive move because obviously that's the wrong. I think that's the wrong way to characterize it. I think it was an assertive move, but I also thought it was something that she could have done a little bit more tactfully.
She could have finessed that a
Right,
little more
exactly,
tactfully, but she was assertive. She because they had a past relationship, professional relationship. I think Eric mentioned that at one point she hired him to do an event for her.
Right.
She
So she was
clearly
familiar with it.
assumed that because of that she can, they can start a relationship because that's the vibe she was giving out. And the Kia backed up, so she just took over.
And in her confessional, the Kia didn't take too kindly to it. For
No,
sure.
she didn't like that.
sure.
She didn't like that at all.
Yeah. Well,
So there's drama afoot.
right around the corner next week episode for sure. But anyway, moving along, we thought on a positive note, it was a nice gesture when Tori got a chance to meet with Sabrina. He actually came with gift in hand.
Yes, he came with cupcakes, and I don't know if it's Georgetown cupcakes, but
If it was, good move, bro.
that was nice because it's always good for a man to remember what a woman says and bring her something like that. That's enduring. That's an enduring quality, and it makes the woman feel good, and that pushes him up a notch or two ahead of the others. I like that touch. That was nice.
For sure, and it showed, revealed a side of Tori that I thought was cool, and I think that it was just a good move. It was just a nice
Yeah.
gesture. It wasn't anything other than that. Just a really nice, simplistic move
absolutely.
that showed appreciation and wanted, he just wanted to show that side of him to her.
And I thought that because we can see that conflict is coming between Tori and Demetrius for Sabrina.
Sabrina.
And Demetrius claimed that they have a relationship, whether they speak over the phone or what have you. But their relationship when Sabrina and Demetrius were together seemed a little bit forced. It didn't seem like it was authentic.
Right, but there's a lot that we don't necessarily see because of editing, and also because these cast members have contact with each other away from the cameras, to my understanding. So.
Yeah, but I don't get the vibe that Demetrius is going for Sabrina. I just don't get it. But I can be wrong.
We'll
So
see for sure.
we'll see.
We'll see. Anyway, at the beach house, it seemed like one of the most extroverted cast members. Maybe he had too much to drink, sip, or whatever, but he was out of character for sure. That being Laverne.
It's okay for a brother to be quiet from time to time because Laverne has a lot to say. So it may be a glorious time if he's not saying anything at all.
Yeah, well,
That's just my
I
take.
tell you what, he's out of character according to nephew Tommy and a few others, him and Paul. But this one we're talking about Laverne. But at the same time, he seemed to be, I guess, reserved or kind of distracted. Maybe I don't know what, but he seemed to be disconnected from what was going on there, and that caught the attention of a few of the lady cast members and had a negative impact on them.
Yeah, they were saying that he had a God complex. He wanted them to come to him, but it could be that he was just having one of these sacred days where you stay quiet, you know.
Maybe, but you know, those kinds of perceptions lead to consequences for sure.
It's because Ace is Zen like. Maybe he too is now reaching and pursuing that Zen quality that where Ace is.
Maybe, but anyway, we'll see
We'll see.
as the show progresses for sure. Well, listen, that's about all we have, right?
That's all we have. We want to thank you
Absolutely.
for watching us do the summary and cliff notes. And we encourage you to, if you like what we're doing, please subscribe and click the notification button. And we appreciate you. Have a glorious day, week, month, and the world is great because you are in it.
Absolutely. God bless, and remember something: when you get close to that edge, know where you are and take a step back.
Step back.